up, wrestling card collectors? Welcome to, I think, a special edition of WTC TV. Get it right, man. It's a long day here, man, in Arizona, but Ryan knows. I mean, he's over here sniffling to death. There's allergies are killing him out here, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it under control. I took a bunch of Dayquil, so I should be able to get through this.
Okay, all right. Well,
At least I hope it's not NyQuil.
Yeah, I hope it's not. That'll be a fun one. I like to watch that.
Yeah, that'd be extra fun.
So I thought we jump on here real quick, guys, and we're going to do like a special drop. I don't know when it's going to drop, but probably real soon this week, maybe this weekend, and talk about two big releases that are coming out from WWE, from Panini, like that. Adam, what do we got coming out here? Come on, tell people what we got. You're all over this shit. So.
Yeah, I'm forced to be all over this stuff. So first things first, we got the first taste of Impeccable, which what is the first Panini WWE product with a high-end sort of configuration. So instead of doing multiple packs, multiple cards, in a pack, you're looking at one pack, 7 cards, pretty high-end product, running about, probably $400 to $600 a box, depending on how lucky you are to find it. And then seemingly like right on the heels of it, like no breather, just going in hard, is Chronicles, which is coming out in the middle of November, we saw, which I'm really excited about for a number of reasons. So I think this is going to be a saturated couple of months for WWE collectors. And then, we're going to hopefully have a little bit of a breather, I would guess. So.
Well, explain, if you guys are both very familiar when it comes to these two brands, these two particular lines they have. I'm not someone like that, so I'm going to be educated here as well when it comes to that Chronicle stuff and the Impeccable stuff like that. What separates these products from the other previous stuff that Panini's put out so far?
Impeccable is super high end. It's $600 a pack on pre-sale. I know the FOTL, I think they bought about at 500, but they sold out. You're paying
right
upwards of $80 to $100 a card in these packs. Everything from what I've seen is on card, which is great. I know that in the last couple of years with Impeccable football and soccer, they did cut corners and use stickers, which you can't do that. In my opinion, you can't do that in a pack that's $600 when you're paying $100 a card, and some of those cards are base cards. So I was happy to see that, definitely. And
we know for a fact that they're all on card, right?
Well, yes. Not for a fact. I haven't seen any Brutus autographs yet. I did get a DM from him because we follow each other on Twitter. So I reached out to him and he said he did sign some cards, some actual cards. So I'm going to assume that he is on card with the rest of the Impeccable autographs.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're all on card.
That's good. I know as a stuff card's coming out because I do the preliminary checklist as well. Well, Chuckster helps out with that, of course, big time. And it's just where Cardboard, Connection, all those guys get their same stuff. It's all just weird numbered stuff, just numbered. And then as they come out, we know that's like gonna be like SS-RR and stuff like that. So we'll get that stuff updated as it comes out. But I haven't really seen a whole lot other than that first off the line stuff like that. What are you guys' first impressions of it?
So Impeccable is like one of my favorite sets that Panini does. Like, I think, National Treasures, Contenders, Prism, Select, like those are like the legacy products. And like, those are the ones that everybody gravitates towards to get the most value. But I think Impeccable is one of the best, and Immaculate too. I think Impeccable is one of the best designed Panini products that they make. Seeing the first live cards, definitely living up to the hype. But I think it's been interesting to see a few things. One, the higher parallels, like the 99s and up there, they're pretty plain cards, right? They're single color swatches. They're whatever. When you see like the ones that are out of 25 and out of 10 and below, like that's when you start to get to see these like crazy sort of swatch cards that have like the stuff we were seeing in Select for the golds and tie-dyes there. The autograph cards look great. As you were saying, it's all on card. And man, I it's just impressive to see kind of high end, like hard signed, cards like they have in Impeccable. We got a taste of this a little bit with Undisputed for Tops. Like it's kind of the same. I did a little bit of a comparison chart, a little bit of the same approach and same like type of target market. But man, these cards are much more expensive, and they're much more expensive looking in a lot of ways, or on thicker stock. I think overall it's going to be a really nice set.
I like
Value wise,
I like the look of that Stone Cold autograph that someone pulled.
It looks really
card.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, and they have some good photos again too. Like I think I was worried about that, but they chose some good photos too. The base cards look great. Like usually the Impeccable base cards are hit or miss. Like I think they did a really good job with WWE's sort of approach there. But yeah, first impressions are really good in terms of like the singles you can buy. Wax first impression, I'll have some thoughts there. But
yeah, I'll pick up with that. There's absolutely no way any single collector should spend $500 on a pack of this.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Never. I watched 15 packs get broken tonight on Steel City on YouTube. I don't think one of them even came close to recouping the cost of the pack. And then you factor in fees and everything else, and you really need to sell everything for like $650 to break even on a $500 pack. It's not there. The Adam's right. The cards are beautiful. Everything's on card. The pictures are fantastic. I was really worried about a lot of times if you're a player collector, you start seeing the same photos over and over again. I didn't see that. A lot of nice action photos, especially on the championship cards where they're shown with the belt. Really good job.
My favorite. I love that. Yeah.
It's really a nice. It's a very artistic set put together. It's very nice to look at. People will be very happy with the singles in hand. You should not open a pack of this. You will lose a ton of cash. Group breaks are a different animal. If you want to get on a group break, go ahead. But walking into a store and
it's really funny. It's really funny because like there were guys on Whatnot yesterday that were breaking them at $1,500 a box. Like now you're selling slots, so people aren't doing math and they're not recognizing like how insanely overpriced these slots are compared to what so like if you think, okay, Whatnot fees are 10-15% probably, depending on, I don't even know what the platform is. I have never sold on there, so I'm guessing it could be 5%. There's still a fee, so there's a little bit of fees, but it's not like 300% fees. So like these guys are selling slots, they're getting people to buy in because FOMO. I bought into a few of them because I wanted to get in on it. It's hard to not want to sit down at the high stakes poker table, right? But like, and I got crazy lucky, but that never happens to me. Like I just, for whatever reason, last night was great for me. For a lot of other people, they spent hundreds of dollars and walked away with garbage. And the reason is because this is a Panini high-end product. Now, Ryan and I have had a lot of experience with high-end Panini products, and value per break is about as low as it is across any products there are on the market. Like Topps doesn't really do a lot of like these types of breaks. Like they have high-end products. They do things like this, like Dynasty and stuff like that. They do a lot of like really high cost per card breaks.
Yeah, like Definitive is a big one. Definitive Baseball is a one.
Yeah, and they did that for football for 1 year or 2 years too. Like, so they've had their experience with these products, but regardless if it's Topps or Panini, it's just a matter of whether it's an 80% loss or a 60% loss. Because unless you're hitting something insane, you're coming up short, and that is just a horrible feeling to walk away with. And usually, when this first came out in football, like that was where I really got introduced to Impeccable, was back in 2016 when they first did this. And these cards were like, at the time, Panini was putting out just utter trash. Like it was so freaking bad. And when you look back at like what Panini was doing back then, holy shit, like this stuff it was my favorite target to hit on, as Ryan is well aware of. But Impeccable came out and I was just floored by it. Now it's different than it is then. Back then they used like the HDR filters on some of these photos, so it looked kind of painted on the card, and they used a weird stock, so it looked like it was kind of like canvas. overlay on the cardstock, which was like really cool to have in hand. The cards just looked absolutely gorgeous. Now, I don't know if they still do that because I haven't paid attention to Impeccable since I got out of football in like 2019. So it could have changed back, but I think they moved away from that because it seemed really expensive to produce and not really, and there weren't a lot of people that were latching onto it. They were too focused on Prism, Select, National Treasures, Flawless, whatever. So like seeing this come to WWE, and they made a choice. It seems like they made a choice to say, are we going to do Immaculate or are we going to do Impeccable? Now, I don't know what I would rather prefer. I like the look of the Impeccable cards a lot, but Immaculate is the legacy brand, which means it would have more value. I don't know what Ryan thinks about that, but it's kind of, I think this replaced Immaculate from what I understand. So like, we were promised Immaculate and got Impeccable. It's not necessarily a bad trade, but I'm curious to hear what he thinks too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Impeccable is the way to go. I think it's a very unique product in the way the cards look, the artistic flair to it. Like I said before, Immaculate to me starts looking like every other high-end Panini product.
That's a fair.
And I think Impeccable really stands alone in its own world as far as what the cards look like. What I was going to say about the group breaking is, if you want to dabble a little bit here and there, go ahead, but don't expect to buy like an Undertaker slot and get 4 Undertaker cards out of the case. You'll be lucky to hit any one specific wrestler. If you do it by wrestler, it's going to be very, very difficult. And you're better off just buying the singles. You're better off taking that $50, $100, $150, $200 or whatever it is, and just putting it towards the card you want. You'll be a lot happier, and you'll get what you want. Like I said, I watched 15 today, and it was I didn't see a lot of duplicates in those 15 packs. So
I think
go ahead.
Well, no, the group break thing is a really good point. Like, and make sure you're breaking with somebody you trust too, because it's easy to see which of the cards have which of the boxes have those silver bar cards in them. So like, so if you're doing a 1-box break and they're only offering 1 box, like be really careful because those boxes are really heavy.
Yeah, you can feel the bar cards very easily. I did a case of Impeccable football. It's a football. Yeah, it's football. Years ago, and as soon as I picked up that pack, you know it's in there. So, what do you think about the bar cards? Like, does that move your radar? I'm not either.
But neither do the gem cards either. Like the gem cards for Flawless, like those never really did anything for me either. Like these bar cards are, it's like an idea, right? It's a gimmick, and like they were. It was. And you said Impeccable stands apart. Like absolutely does. Like I agree with you on that. And like one of the ways that this was the first opportunity. Now it's in Eminence. Now it's in a few products, but this was where it started. So like they brought that bar card to other products. It just doesn't do it for me. I think it's a really weird gimmick, especially for something like WWE where gold and silver just doesn't really jive. Like NFL, like there were, they kind of like did like Hall of Fame and they did Super Bowl stuff, which more adjacent, I guess. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the theme fits. But I do like that they took kind of like the made them like the box topper, so like they're not taking up a hit slot in the break usually. And so I never bought any of them. I sold the ones I pulled in football. Like I used to rip a couple of cases of this in 2016 and 2017. I pulled like if you look in the graveyard of my Instagram, you can see one of the Patrick Mahomes that I pulled. It was like a logo card that now is probably worth like 15 grand. At the time I sold it probably for like $500. And like, like, but those bar cards, like they never really did it for me. Neither do the gem cards either. I don't think that's really that cool either. But that's
I also noticed on some of the packs, there's in addition to the bar card, there's a pack with another thick, small pack with it. And it's like a memorabilia card. And it's
the jumbo relics.
Yeah, it's just as thick as the bar cards too. Those, I mean, they're going to be minimal value. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I did want to talk about.
They go down in parallel those. I think they go down in parallels though. So maybe I've only seen the ones out of like 35. So maybe, I think there's
maybe the low one. If they started, the only one I saw was a Carmella, and it was a plain black swatch, and it's probably a
I saw
$10.
Cody.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
saw
probably
Cody
$10
Rhodes
card.
jumbo one. Yeah.
But the base set, and I'm talking to two people specifically when I say this. If you think Select was a difficult set, get ready.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where Paul and Chuckster land on this. There is a 100-card base set numbered out of 99. I can tell you that Hogan, Rock, Triple H, they're going to be $50 to $100 cards to start. They'll be really expensive. And then there's also 101 to 110, which are rookie relic autographs numbered out of 99. And that's Braun Breaker and a couple others in there too. So I don't know if they consider those 10 cards part of the set or not. That's going to be a very, very expensive proposition.
I don't know where they're going to stand on this product. I haven't really talked to them much about this particular product. I guess when it hits the market and they start seeing it, they'll have I have no idea. I know that they're not going to be doing the whole selecting again. That's for sure.
Well,
by the time this comes out, I don't know if it'll be announced or something like that, but Paul is awfully close, if not already completed the 400 card base set now.
And I think Chuckster's within like 20 cards. So
I think he's less than 10 now. I think he's
okay.
10 now.
Good.
So, these guys are like, they don't like collecting that way, I guess. And there's like, buy a set from their breaker they used to buy and then have it. So I think it's got a little bit of a thrill of the chase kind of thing. I kind of thrive off that for myself, but I get it. I get where they're coming from. We all collect differently, but
Right.
I don't know. This product for me, there's nothing in it for me. There's zero Loomis.
Yeah, this is in the Loomis gap.
Well,
yeah.
actually, I take that back because there is Kurt Angle in it.
Oh, there you go.
So I have that now. I have that to look forward to. So I guess I better make a phone call and see. Did you hold any back?
I think the angle stuff should be relatively inexpensive though. Like, so I don't think you're going to be too hard pressed to find probably like a couple of months down the road if he has autographs or base cards. Base cards you probably get $5 to $10.
And that's where I have the issue with right now. So is this whole the general mindset of collectors and pricing. It's like that. Like, how long have you been collecting, and how do you not know that you just don't blow all your damn money in the first few weeks when the product comes out and just wait to buy your singles of what you want? If you don't, it happens with everything, with every release.
True.
So I just don't understand why people want to complain and talk about the price points and why it's so expensive. Like, why are you buying it now? Why don't you just wait till the price
you
comes
want
down?
The real answer, or do you want
I want the real damn answer. Of course I do. I mean, I want the answer.
So people complain because they always complain. I mean, like, that's just the long short of it. I mean, and it's even more bitching now because of all the just the complexity of how the world of WWE has changed. Like, WWE specifically is just a microcosm of the greater hobby. If you think complaining and bickering is bad in WWE, like, come on, like, look at the greater hobby. Like, there are people literally like doing SWAT, calls to people because they're so pissed. Like, at least we haven't gotten there yet. I don't know. I might be. We might need to do that, but
we might get there.
We might need it.
At the rate we're going, we gotta have a happy holiday.
Yeah, eventually. So, but yeah, hobby wide, like, people complain because they just like to complain. And I said this on Twitter a while ago, like, it's not fun if you can't complain and have drama and like all this. Like, that's what social media is for. Like, why are you
100%.
here if you're not gonna have a good time and entertain yourself?
Not even so much about the complaining and bitching about it. It's just a general mindset of someone goes, why did I not at least break even on my product that I bought like that? Because it's not designed for you to break even. It's a collectible. First off, you're going to randomly get what you get. And if you're just looking for something specific, just wait for the market to kind of settle down a little bit. Go out there, save your money, buy what you want. Ryan, you and I've talked about before too. It's like, don't spend all your money. If you're just a such and such collector, go get that down the road. I get it. Certain guys, the value might go up a little bit. So I'm in fear of not having to pay too much down the road. But do I want to pay $500 for a pack that yields me absolutely shit? Or do I want to pay $500 for a few of the pieces that I know that I'm going to really enjoy?
I think we're going to see this product at $300 a pack.
I think so too.
Yeah, this isn't going to stay.
Oh, of course not. Yeah. But even at $300 a pack, it's still an expensive pack.
I think it's still a loss at $300 a pack. I still, sure. I think you still pass on it at $300 a pack. But one of the things,
here's the thing I mean, like the run here is so small compared to like a Prism or a Select. I don't know if it's going to drop as fast as some of the other stuff, but it's going to drop.
yeah, it'll drop. It'll
The
100%
speed of the drop is, whatever, but I think the eventual drop is still the inevitable thing, really. I don't know. I mean, I just, it's mind boggling to me that people just like, they just, that credit card comes out right away to go out there and buy something because they have to have it right now. I got it first. All right. You get what? What kind of award are you winning?
Right. Well, and when I was looking over the checklist, there were two cards that stood out to me that just jumped off the page, and they're both from the championship checklist, and it's the Austin autograph and the Hogan autograph. There's 98 Stone Cold autographs on card, full signature. There's 84 Hogan autographs on card. You can wait. You can wait.
Yeah.
I mean, there's.
I get the need to buy and get that one of one, or that really low serial number type of one, or God,
even there.
Yeah, even there. I mean, a lucky envelope card. I mean, there's still 8 of them.
Well, hold on a second. No, that stuff doesn't happen here. Like, and this isn't a rainbow collector set. Like that's what another thing we need to talk about here.
Well, I'm not talking about just the rainbows. I'm just talking about the mindset
I know.
it's limited. I gotta have it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like this is a completely different target market, right? So like Select, Prism, the runs are gigantic. Plus they have retail. So like you are pulling a rare card in those sets is very difficult. Pulling a rare card in a set like this is like once per case. So like I think like you look at, and when I say rare, I mean like under 10. So I mean like you're looking at this from a perspective of like, well, not all the product's going to get open. Plus, retail is going to sit on the shelves or get destroyed or whatever it is that they do after retail sits there. Like, or it's going to sit in some, breaker room on whatnot for 80 months, whatever. And those cards will never surface. Like here, I would say 75% of the product's going to be ripped, and it's going to be ripped pretty quickly. And a lot of those cards are going to end up on eBay or in Facebook groups or other places really, really fast. And the reason is because grading is not a big deal here, right? Most of these cards are not going to get graded the way that Select and Prism does.
They're too thick. And the metal cards are scratched. They come out of pack scratched. So
absolutely, yeah. So you're not going to see the grading contingent here. Like you're going to see people pull the card and sell it immediately. Where Prism, you pull it, you got to grade it, then you got to sell it. That can take 4 to 6 months. So you're not seeing as much of the stuff show up right away. Here, it's like pull, pack, eBay, boom. And it's really fast. The only difference is it's got to come from the group breakers. So group breakers will ship it to the person that takes like a week. So you'll see like end of October, the market's going to be absolutely flooded. And so you pull a card that's out of 5, out of 6, out of 10, out of whatever, all of a sudden that's not a rare card anymore because this set is filled with cards like that. More importantly, people like me aren't going in and chasing rainbows for this because it's not a rainbow set. It's not like Select and Chrome or anything where there are colors everywhere. So like people are buying one card instead of 8 cards, and they're buying like the one they want and then saying, okay, I got what I wanted here, I'm moving on, instead of like, well, I need to have every single one of them. Now, to your point, Tony, does that mean that there's not going to be those people that are putting up cards at humongous prices on day 1 and 2, or in this day -7, right? Because that's when first off the line hit. But those cards are going to come down tremendously, especially the ones that are above 25. Because like those aren't rare cards in this set. Like out of 25 is not a rare card in this set.
I agree with you on that. It's just the mindset that there's common collectors out there who just don't understand that though. And that's part of the whole aspect of doing your homework, going out there, kind of studying what this is. I'm learning because I don't know these products very well, so like that. But the numbers mean nothing to me because I just equate that to something else that's equal to that. And so I just it just bugs me that people just have to feel like they need to spend all their money right away. But then again, who might tell you this, what you want to spend your money on? I guess. I mean,
you're just doing a PSA for people, and if they want to listen,
exactly.
I'm telling you, wait on this stuff. Wait on this stuff.
Yeah. But you say that every release, you say that at every release, that's the right thing to do, though.
Especially for this one, though. Especially for this one, though. Like high-end Panini products just are always like.
Yeah, they just. It's not high-end tops. It's not high-end upper deck. High-end upper deck had it right. High-end upper deck back in the day was some stuff that you could pair a car with. So some of that stuff. Panini, it's very, very difficult in high-end Panini, which is why you'll see you know, a Roman Reigns autograph out of 5 will sell for less than a select gold out of 10 that's not signed.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just, you know, Adam's right. When you have a product that's limited and everything's limited in it, there's no chase. There's basically no chase in this product. You're going to open it up and you're going to get something numbered to 13, 8, 5, 101. It's all over this stuff. It's all over this stuff.
It's not unique. It all kind of looks
Yeah.
the same. It's not unlike there may be chase, right? So if somebody has like a WWE logo in their 101, like sure, that's a chase. But you know, the gold bars, if you're into that, that's a chase. But other than that, like the difference between a patch autograph out of 25 and a patch autograph out of 5 and 10, there's not going to be much in the value. That's more like it's select. You go from a tie-dye to a green, you know, those values fluctuate. You go from like a blue to a whatever, those values fluctuate. Here, it's all kind of just the same, and it's not the same. It's not a rainbow product. Yeah.
And I was getting a kick out of watching some of the packs and you know, but Panini, the last card's always the best card. Well, the second to last, because the last card's the base card in this. The majority of the big names are redemptions.
Yeah, Reigns is a redemption.
So I have a list here. Charlotte Flair.
Yep.
Roman Reigns, Batista, Triple H, Cena, Gable Stevenson.
And
all redemptions in this stuff. And I don't know if you guys are watching this, if you're following the Panini, what they're doing with redemptions right now, I would not touch Panini redemption ever from this point on, because they are taking, I think I saw on Sports Card Radio, someone pulled a Mike Trout autograph back in 2014, had it redeemed since 2014. They sent him like 250 points or 500 points or something like that for a card that's probably, you know, it's not a rookie year card, but it's pretty early on.
It's expensive.
Card. I would not touch. If you pull a redemption and you want to redeem it, don't scratch it, sit on it, wait until they start showing up and the Panini has them in house. Do not take the chance.
Just sell the redemption to some other unlucky person.
I mean, you know,
you got 6 months on this. Like the class action lawsuit that sort of made this a reality, I think they're putting it at 6 months. Now, I have emails into Panini to see if there's going to be an opportunity to like get around it if you're a trusted collector or something, but I have no idea. Like this is a hugely risky situation, especially for big names like Roman Reigns and John Cena. Like being redemptions is bad. Very, very bad.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of redemptions, and you know, I've been following that case on what's Paul. I think his name is Paul. I've been kind of, I can't remember his last
Paul
name.
Esco, yeah.
Yeah. So watching, I love watching his little tweets because he breaks it down for the really simple-minded, dumb individuals like me, and so it's makes it very easy to follow through. But it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. But yeah, redemptions have always been death. I don't know why anybody ever wanted to deal with them. I sell them immediately.
and the other thing is I could definitely see Panini getting to like the end of this thing and being like, let's just slap some stickers on these cards and send them out.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
You know, so if you go and spend $1,000 on a Roman Reigns autograph or a Cena autograph or whatever else, think it's going to be on card, you're taking a big risk. You're taking a big risk. It's just with this Fanatics takeover, it's just way too risky to be sitting on. I mean, I'm sitting on a $2,000 UFC redemption from Topps for 2.5 years now. From a fighter, Amanda Nunes, who is now the belt holder again, who fights in Vegas like every 3 months. And I tweeted him and I said, look, send me the cards. I'll drive to Vegas.
I'll go do it myself.
I'll get them signed and I'll mail them back to you. I don't understand what the effing problem is with these things. Like, oh, we're committed to making it. Not really. You're not really that committed. So
you're committed
just
to
beware with
that.
redemptions.
It
just sucks. You know, it sucks because you're paying $500 for a pack. And you can see as the breakers, you know, or whoever's opening it is going down, and then you see that very thin little redemption, and that's what you got. You don't even have a live card. Like really, like this was supposed to be like your big splash into WWE with the high-end product.
There's points too. There's points.
Yeah. I saw points too. So not only do you have points, but you have redemptions for almost every big name. I mean, it's asinine, to be honest with you, and it's lazy,
really problematic,
and it's you know, it's
I think they rushed this product. I think they rushed this product to market for a number of reasons. They won't publicly admit that, but I think if they had an opportunity to sit and get these cards signed, I mean, Roman's not at every event anymore. Like, he's on a part-time deal at this point, so I can see why they're struggling. And it's hard to mail cards to the island of relevancy, postal code 11111. But like, I think it's a problem, right? Because if you're telling collectors you're going to wait for 6 months and then we're giving you points, you don't have a choice. Or if there is a choice, you're still sitting on it for 6 months with a really big cloud hanging over it. Like, is Fanatics going to buy Panini? I think the indicators are showing that that's probably likely going to happen. Then what goes down there? Then what happens with your redemptions? Like, it's like, now I guarantee you I'm going to get messages saying like, oh, I'm sure we'll take care of this and we'll do this. Like, I get it. Like, you'll have contingency plans, but I don't know. I don't know how this is all going to work. Like, I think we're speculating on a lot of this. Like, I redeemed a Panini card earlier. I got it like a week later. Like, some of these things move really quickly, but there's extenuating circumstances all over this, like literally all over it. Panini's pending acquisition, the class action lawsuit, the points situation, all of the collector pushback, the problem that WWE stars that are redemption, like Roman, Charlotte, Randy, all these guys are injured. They're not going to be at an event anytime soon. Like, Charlotte is dealing with personal issues, at least according to the rumors. So like, Roman is there maybe once a month. Cena's not at shows anymore and doing movies. Like, there's a lot of outstanding circumstances on why a hard signed card isn't going to get done.
Right.
Yeah, totally agree. You say this as being a rush product, which it seems like it is to me. That's kind of how I view it, as being a rush product, because right on its tails, we're going to have Chronicles.
Yeah.
Now, I love Chronicles. I love that set. I saw that Adam posted the pre-sale price, which is $130 a box. I think that's a great price on this product.
Awesome.
It is a lot of fun. This is really a fun product, and the way they structure it, I'm going to assume they're going to structure it similar to UFC, and UFC it's a 400, and I'm talking about last year's set. It's a 410 card set, and hold on, I'm doing the math. Yeah, it's a 410 card set. The first 100 cards, you get like 5 per pack, and it's 10 different products. And then the next 100 cards are 5 more products, 20 cards per product. Cards 201 to 300 were, I think it was 5 products, 20 cards, and it was like Spectra, Optic, stuff like that. And then the scarcity falls into the National Treasures and the Noir cards. And for UFC, it was cards 301 to 400. The first 50, I think, were National Treasures, and the second 50 were Noir. They're numbered to 99. They're case hits. And then I don't know if they're doing it for WWE, but for UFC, they did Gala singles.
They're doing it here too.
Depending on how you say it. I think they're like
part of the preview.
20 of those, and they're numbered at 8.
8, yeah, they're on here too.
Okay, so
they're on the
so yeah, so I mean, the Conor McGregor Gala card was like $2,000.
Yeah, they're like the color blast. Like, it's like, I love this product so much. Football, it kind of is weird in football because football is such a QB centric sport. The rookies drive everything. Plus they had Prism in there too, like updated Prism stuff. That's not going to be in here. But Chronicles came about because Panini produces way too many fucking sets. Like, that's just like, that's the bottom line of it. Like, they just make too many cards.
I mean,
So
I don't want to go in that direction just yet, if we don't have to go yet, but this is going to be like number 6 set already so far this year they've put out.
This is going to be 6.
This is different.
It's 6.
Six through
And
30.
we can't even get Upper Deck to put out their second
that.
one. So let's not even go there, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. We're so like, Chronicles is like, okay, we make too many sets in football and basketball and baseball. We just make too many products. So we're going to take the best parts of all of those products, because most of those products as standalone are complete fucking garbage. Like, there is a lot of Panini bulk in their calendars. So they took the best parts of these sets, they put it together into what Ryan was just explaining. But for the niche brands like NASCAR, UFC, and WWE, where they've now been releasing these, it's an opportunity for collectors to get sets that aren't going to survive as standalone sets for a niche brand, right? So like you can't have a gala WWE product, it won't sell. Like you can't have a noir like full WWE product. It's probably going to be too expensive to produce, probably too expensive for collectors to go after. Like, so take the best elements of those sets and bring them here. And then you have the legacy branded national treasures, which sadly are sticker patch autographs, but they're still national treasures cards. They're still really big deals. Like this is going to be a really awesome rip. And it's so much fun because the cards all look different. It's a very focused checklist. I know Ryan doesn't like that as much, but like they tend to focus on like the top guys rather than like the mid carders and low carders, plus a lot of the rookies. So like you'll have a focus where like the first 100 cards are probably going to be like Roman Reigns and Cena and Rock and Hogan and Austin and some few others.
If
and then
they
you'll
follow
have like,
suit with UFC, the first 100 cards will be only 10 wrestlers.
yeah.
It'll be 10
So it'll
score
be
cards. It'll be 10 Donruss cards. It'll be 10 prestige cards. But it will be card number 1 will be Cena. Card 11 in score will be Cena. Card number 21 in prestige will be Cena. Down the line. Now we haven't seen a checklist yet, so we don't know. That's how UFC.
We don't know, but
so you had
yeah, and that's cool. Like, see, I think for a collector who wants to get those things, like we want Cena, we want Reigns, we want Rock, we want Hogan, all those guys. Well, I don't, but you know what I mean. Like, those are the types of configurations that drive a lot of fun. But then you get into like the rarer stuff, and as the rarity increases, they add more people and they add more numbering, they add parallels and all of their stuff. So like, as we get going in this, like getting to the box hits is even more fun, right? Yep. So we in the sell sheet we got the silhouettes, which are hugely popular cards in the NBA. Like they are insanely popular cards. We saw national treasures patch autographs, which drive the entire hobby. They are the top cards in the hobby, bar none, period, end of story. And then you have stuff like other contributing sets like Noir and Gala and all those other things that Ryan was talking about. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff here. I think there was like a list of products that they were including. One I did not see on there that I was really, really disappointed in is the lack of contenders. There's no
contenders.
I was really hoping for contenders. I was thinking Braun Breaker contenders ticket autograph, even if it's sticker, I want that card. Like I'd love to get contenders card.
Yeah, it's Adam's right. What they really do with Chronicles is they take the best of everything and throw it into one blender.
Yeah.
Packs or boxes are probably going to be 12 packs, 8 packs, something like that. They'll have 2 autographs.
6 packs.
They're only 6 packs. Yeah, that's right. So 6 packs. So you're going to get something in every pack, a numbered card. You'll get an autograph card, something like that. But it's really, this is the kind of product you can sit down with your kids and open. Like this is a nice introductory product. There's going to be a retail component. If they follow suit, the National Treasures, Noir, and Gala cards will not be in the retail. Those will be hobby only.
No, they said they hobby only on the sell sheet.
Yeah.
And that's what's so fun about this. Like sometimes they do like acetate cards where they're like clear. They'll do all sorts of like really cool experimental things for football and basketball, but here it's bringing sets that can't be supported in a niche brand to collectors that have brought in from other sports. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting because a lot of the WWE collectors don't have the mainstream hobby experience to know where the true value lies in some of these subsets. So, if you've been in the WWE bubble for, like 10, 15 years, and you haven't had experience with things like Noir, you haven't had with Phoenix or Spectra or you name it, are you going to have as much fun ripping a product that is based in those sets? Tony, that's maybe a question.
It could be. I mean, this product sounds like it's a price point that's going to probably meet a lot of people's likes, I think. Revolution was kind of like that way for me, though. I know it was one set designs like that. But that was such a cheap product and a fun rip. I really enjoyed that. Select, even at that price point, was still a very fun rip. It was a lot of fun. You get some good hits out of the box. I like the parallels. I didn't care for the big, 400 card base set, so like that, but that's just the old set collector in me. And, I've tried to gravitate obviously towards being a player collector kind of thing. But this sounds like it's a mixture, like you guys said, putting all their other products that don't sell on their own, putting in a blender and kind of giving you a little bit of whatever, for a little bit for everybody. It just sounds like a fun break. Like I'd probably sit there and open up some boxes with my 3-year-old, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong doing a box or two. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. You might hit something big, but like Adam said, there's so much variety in it. It's not just the same thing over and over again. In one pack you might get an optic prism, in one pack you might get a Hogan autograph, in one pack you might get a silhouette of Alexa Bliss. There's going to be a lot of variety, and for people that can't sit still like me, who get bored easily looking at the same thing over and over again, it really is a fun set to put together. That's going to be something that the set collectors, like I did the 2021 UFC set, but I only did up to 300. I didn't do the National Treasure or the Noir cards. They're just too expensive. I didn't feel like investing that much money in it, but I did the first 300. It was challenging, but I got it done.
But you can still be even if I'm a set collector, what specifically about it? I mean, what could appeal to me as a set collector? I don't have to go after it as a complete 400 plus card set. I can just go, you know what? I just want that first 100 cards, or I want, I mean, it seems like it might feed everybody at the table.
Yeah, I would agree. It's one of those things where, if you really want to challenge, I know that after Select and Impeccable and then Chronicles, the set collectors may be a little burned out because this ain't Topps anymore. You're not buying a box and getting a complete set along with most of the inserts and everything else. It's just not. This is the new reality of wrestling cards. And
Panini seems to kind of like they give you one little bone to chew on if you're a set collector, and that was like the NXT sets that you can almost make a set out of 2 boxes basically.
But that was never Panini's intent though. Like Panini, like Topps has a history in the hobby that dictates an approach in these products that speaks to a lot of people. Excuse me, I'm choking. But like Panini was never about that.
And they don't seem to be about that, but that's why I say like the NXT product seemed like it kind of like it filled that little like, oh, here you go, here, have something like that. If you could be a set collector, because there wasn't anything really super high in it to begin with. Anyways, it was just a fun, pretty inexpensive box to kind of open. I mean, I've got a couple boxes sitting behind me. My local card shop gave me for some graphic work, but I'm not going to open them. It just seems like, if I want to buy base sets for my store, I can go on the secondary market and find them pretty cheap.
And see, like Panini's targets in the hobby have always been kind of like propping up their products with like these tentpole type hits, where it's like big rookie, big quarterback, whatever it might be. Like that's who Panini really sort of speaks to. And we're all so sick here. Like it's so funny. Like we're just coughing and
you guys are cracking me up, man. You guys are cracking me up.
That was bad.
I'm trying to keep it together. I feel terrible.
So I'd like every 5 seconds I go, okay, he's on mute and he's on mute. Now he's on mute.
That's bad.
Oh, my allergies, guys. I apologize.
This is the worst ever. This is the worst whatever.
We're making
every time I slide off, I am sneezing like 4 times. And I'm just trying to keep it together.
Hey, we're doing this because you guys asked me, and I said, "Hell yeah, let's do it." So it's on you.
I love it. No, like it's good stuff. Like I mean, like even though we're all sick, like I think this is good stuff to sort of give people an understanding, especially for like Panini. When Panini approaches a set, like I think they try, and they've told me, like I've talked with them, and they've said like, hey, we try and give products that appeal to different aspects of the hobby, like. And to a degree, like 2014, sure, I guess that could be the case. Like if you have a flagship product like Donruss, it's not going to cost $1,800 a box like it did during the boom because people were chasing the downtown cards. Like, but now, like I think it's really hard to separate where people fall because a design, a configuration that should speak to a flagship type approach is still costing a ton of money. The high end is actually cheaper in some cases than the Prisms and the Contenders, which are much more flagship type products. And that's just insane. So like if you looked back in 2012, 2011, when the hobby was really hurting, like these products, the Contenders, the Prisms, those were much cheaper. They're like $150 a box. Contenders maybe a little bit more than that, but the high end stuff like National Treasures was like $600 a box. So there was a definite separation. Now when you look at the products like Prism Select, those are as expensive as the high end products, but they're not designed to deliver the same way. But because the bigger hits in Prism sell for more than the bigger hits in like an Impeccable or an Immaculate, all of a sudden the configurations don't matter anymore. So then how do you address that in your target market, especially for a niche brand like WWE, which has none of this stuff built in? And so when you look at like a set like Chronicles, which is intimately designed for set collectors or just fun, like having I want to go to a card shop on a Thursday and, rip $150 worth of cards. Like that's a great experience in Chronicles. But I think it's those products are few and far between now, and like NXT at like $70 a box.
Well,
like
hell,
that was
even Revolution.
interesting.
I can get Revolution for $58 a box.
Now you can absolutely, like and Revolution is designed like that too, and it's shaken out after months that's the way it's been. But Revolution started at pre-order like $300 a box, which was crazy.
Yeah, but
I got
it 2 weeks after its release. My high price was $89.
Yeah, it dropped very quickly because people realized what it was. And Ryan and I were laughing at this when they posted it at like $220 and $300 a box. We're like, what? Revolution's not designed to be like that.
Revolution was always designed to be $70 or less a box.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And it's $70 a box.
The
it's a fun rip for $70 a box.
Right. And I'm telling you, on October 13th at almost 10 p.m. Pacific time, I am telling you, player collectors, if you don't have the galactics of your player, you need to get them. Because as I know, but I'm telling you, as the time rolls away, the first year galactics are going to be highly sought after, and they're going to be very, very difficult to find. They already are.
Except after the limits, they'll be just, they'll be fine. They'll be cheap.
Well, what happen is you'll buy one, you'll pay a little bit too much more than you want to, and then like 3 will pop up the next week.
Oh, that's usually how it happens.
Of course.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, as I sit here, and I know Adam agrees with me with this, buy the galactics of your players when they pop up. Pay a little more for them. Get them put away in your collection.
They're so hard to find.
You can thank me in a year or two. They're gonna be like, I have a China Galactic that I paid like $55 for, and I just bought it, and I'm just sitting on it. Because
and they're so hard to find. Like so I have 4 of the Becky Galactics, including the base card, and I paid a lot compared to what they were selling for. Now the ones that I bought at extended prices are already well below where they're selling for right now. I bought one at $100 like a couple of months ago, or when it first popped up at like $100 for Becky on an insert or something. It just sold almost triple that. And then the base one I paid even more for, because that's the one everybody wants. Like you can see if another one popped up today, it would be double what I paid because so many people want them. I've had 5 people ask me like, where do I get this? Where do I get that?
Yeah.
I don't think that exists in Chronicles. I don't think that's going to exist in Impeccable. Galactics and like those, this is what Panini is, right? So this discussion, this is Panini in a nutshell, right? They create these cults around these cards, right?
Absolutely.
Where it's like, I said that on purpose.
I know.
Stop, don't even go there. So like they create these niche audiences around these cards, whether that's the Color Blast, the Downtowns, the Galactics, the
Kabooms.
What was that? Oh,
Kaboom.
the Kaboom. Oh my God. I hate the Kabooms. Yes. The Kabooms. So like, if you look at NFL and NBA, there are specific, like the Precious Metal Gems were the first ones of these types of cards, right? Where if you go back to Upper Deck in the 90s, Fleer in the 90s, they both had cards like this that were based around a collector cult following, like like you're seeing like a movie maybe doesn't do the blockbuster gate at the box office, but it like afterwards it becomes like this incredibly popular movie. Same thing here is like when you look at a Galactic, Revolution started at basketball at like $55 a box. Those Galactics were 1 per 20 box case. So you had absolutely no, and the set was huge. So you had absolutely no chance of pulling these cards.
On
Wrestling,
top
I
of
think
it,
they were-
on top of inserts too, because the inserts
top of
are
inserts,
galactics
yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So if you look at WWE, there may be 1 to 2 per case in 20 boxes, but like, or 18 boxes or whatever it is, but they're still impossible to find. And you can see, I mean, look at how long Tony's been looking for his guy. So I think if you, but that's just one of them.
But
right?
I only
So-
opened 4 boxes. I opened 4 boxes out of that case. I was in, and I did hit a Galactic in one of my boxes. I hit Xavier Woods.
I did too. Yeah.
And so
I
out
hit
of my
Jey
4
Uso or something.
So
Yeah.
I'm just sitting on it. Like I'd happy like
you
here
can get
go.
lucky.
I'll just give it to you and
Yeah.
give me an extra. I'll be happy to do that.
Yeah, it's and like and those types of things happen all the time, but it's not. But so think about that from perspective of like the downtown cards, the Kaboom cards, all those things we were talking about. Panini creates like this chase, and they're always unnumbered. They're always like rare case hits. Something that I've always gravitated towards with Topps, like when they did back in the day, they used to have like autograph versions of the base cards that were like 1 in 8 cases. They weren't numbered, they weren't everything. Like those were really hard to pull. And like I love that type of stuff. Like I love the chase, and a lot of other collectors clearly do too. So when you look at a set like Impeccable, that doesn't exist. When you look at something like Chronicles, it does exist. They're the Gala cards out of 8, right? Those are numbered, but they're impossible to pull. Like you try and put together a set of Galas. Somebody tried it. It's like in basketball, or in one of these UFC, like it was multiple tens of thousands of dollars to like get this done. And it's like those chases in Chronicles exist to a degree, but like you're going to start to see that with Panini in a lot of these sets. So you're talking about like as they release more like ports from NBA and NFL that have these chases built in, like you're going to see what happens when outside mainstream collectors come into WWE. They look for those cards because they are the cornerstones of collections in the mainstream hobby, which is why the color blasts specifically.
We saw that was color blast stuff.
The color blasts are multiple case hits. They're really hard pulls. People guess there are about 15 to 20 of them out there per copy. Like I sought them out. Like I was like, I need that like right away, because those cards are like hobby cornerstone sets, right? And so we have legacy products which drive an insane amount of value by themselves. Prism, Contenders, National Treasures, Immaculate, all those sets that Panini has put out since the beginning, right? Then you have these cornerstone sets, the Kabooms, the Downtowns, the Galactics, all these stuff. Tiger Stripes to a degree have sort of gotten into that because no one can find the ones that they want, and they're retail specific, so that makes them even tougher. So like some of those things exist in Panini that have never existed in WWE before, and the WWE collectors who have never had experience in the hobby prior to Panini coming in, they're lost. Like they've like, what is going on here? The reason why a gold out of 10 in Prism or Select is worth more than a green out of 5, right? No one understands that. It's rare. It should be worth more. But that's not the way this works, because nothing makes sense. It never makes sense.
Right. And you know, what collectors need to realize is that, like I said earlier, this is the new norm. This is the way it's going to be now. It's not Topps anymore with 5 parallels. And I think I was bitching about that on Twitter the other day. It's not, you know, you have a card, you have a card, you have a bronze parallel, you have a 99, a 75, a 50, a 25, a 10, a 5, a 1. That's gone. That's over with. You're going to have those, and then you're going to have dragon feathers and ostrich eggs, whatever shit they basically throw at a dartboard. It's like, you know, rooster.
It's like
claws.
Pickle Rick parallels. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's like rooster claws. The new parallels, rooster claws, and people go crazy over
these animals. What'd you say? When did you guys?
It reminds me of Stefan on Saturday Night Live. this set's parallel is rooster claws. You can tell as like this is the guy on Saturday Night Live, Bill Hader.
Yeah, and it's people just go crazy over it, and
they go nuts for it.
Yeah, and
zoo collectors.
Adam's 100% right. What's going to bring people in from the outside are the stuff they know.
Yeah.
And they know downtown, and they know kabooms. Now we haven't seen this stuff in wrestling yet, but
we will.
Oh, absolutely, we're going to see it. 100%, we're going to see it. And for you player collectors who think that you have a right to every Roman Reigns card because you've been collecting them for 10 years, or every Hogan card because you've been collecting them for 40 years, there's going to be people with some deep wallets. Like, get ready, deep wallets, and they will outbid you. And it's very frustrating, and it's a new time, man. It's a new world order. It really is.
Man,
and it's funny because I can
at one point I'm hoping that Loomis goes big, and other points like, no, just stay where you're at, dude. You're doing just fine.
Yeah.
You're doing just fine.
And I can already see the response on this. Well, wrestling card values have dropped to the floor and blah blah blah. Like, yeah. Like the stuff that's readily available, it just like it does in every product. Like, yes, I don't want to pay $100 for Ridge Holland. I'm sorry, but like if you look at the chase worthy cards, those are always much more valuable. They've stayed pretty much where they are because they dry up so fast. And it's like, we talked about the galactics, the golds, like the stuff that triggers a larger response from the mainstream hobby continues to be rare and continues to be valuable. But yeah, so like the unnumbered red wave parallels from Prism, like hit the floor. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, those cards were never meant to be valuable. But like, you're looking at a crazy response that, you know, even people are saying, well, Prism Wax is now $245 a box and whatever it is. Like, great. Like, that doesn't change the fact that it's still one of the most successful wrestling sets of all time, because it's those cards have sold for insane amount of money. Now, they've sold maybe once for an insane amount of money and they haven't come up again. And if they did come up again, who knows? But it doesn't matter. Those records were set.
Yeah.
And like those,
there's people waiting. There's people waiting for those cards.
Absolutely, like
there's people waiting for the next gold rock to pop up. They're waiting.
Yeah.
And when they pop up,
Drake just bought one.
Yeah, they're gonna go for insane money. Can I tell you how irritated I am that Brutus Beefcake does not have a Transcendent Superfractor autograph?
Throw up the ones for the Transcendence, man. I love those cards.
Those are some of the most beautiful cards ever created.
My blur is gonna.
Yeah, congratulations.
My blur is. I can't get it to. There we go. But yeah, those are my favorite wrestling cards that exist.
Yeah. So, you know, it's one last thing. I want to jump back to Impeccable just for a second, because I had a question for Adam, because you seem to be kind of tight with this Lucas Kinzer guy a little bit, or maybe you just talk to him more than everybody else.
I just talk. We're not tight, but I talk to him. Yeah.
Yeah. So why is Macho Man not making every set? Why is that? The only cards he has in Impeccable is a silver bar out of 35 and a gold bar out of 1. Doesn't have a base card. Like, what's the deal here? Like,
is this what prompted your message? Like, I think I'm out of the Macho Man game.
Well, you know, I go up and down. I go up and down. My wife has asked me a couple times before. She's not hinting, but she's asked me a couple times before, if somebody came in here with a check into this room, and not the memorabilia, but the cards, what would it take and would you do it? And I don't know, I'm like 50-50. I'm like, well, if somebody came with me for like a, $100,000 check, yeah, I probably would. Absolutely. But I can buy some of that stuff.
There's always a number.
But, I kind of, it's funny because I'm familiar with Panini. I know what to expect. I kind of like it. I kind of don't, because now it affects me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a great question.
Before it was just, Topps has a base card with 5 parallels, right? Maybe you get the 1-on-1, maybe you don't, but you'll get everything else eventually. You'll get the other 6 and you'll be down to 1. And if it shows up, maybe you get it, maybe you don't. But now with these, I mean, you're talking, and Jamie, if he were here, he would back me up on this. You're talking $1,500 to pick up the elephant, zebra, tiger stripe of Macho.
The zoo, yeah, the zoo.
Those 3 cards,
Yeah, the zoo.
$1,500. And I know that we got some people in the hobby with some cash. I know they like to throw it around and they can buy whatever they want. I'm not in that situation. And it's one of those things where
Are you saying you're not the same?
Well, I'm not. You know what? It's funny. It depends.
Poking you. Gonna poke.
Yeah, we're not the same. We're not the same.
I hear you, man.
You know,
oh my
it's just,
God.
You can't help yourself, can you?
I can. I'm
But it's you know, for me, $1,500 is a vacation, you know, and it's and I get it. Maybe I'll get one here and one there, but it is a little disheartening. And when I said the other day that Panini has destroyed player collectors, I absolutely mean it. They've absolutely destroyed
really
player collections. There's just no.
But I see it here's where I differ in that opinion. I just think that they probably have to a certain degree, but it also depends on how you're player collecting. Like if you're a content person, like I have my Dexter Loomis stuff and I'm missing a lot of key stuff that I just know I'm not willing to pay the kind of money people want to have stuff like that. People send me messages all the time. Like here's this one of one Loomis autograph. Here's this one of one, you know, here's the, you know, the zebra, whatever the fuck. I mean, they send me this stuff and I go like, yeah, but these people want $300 for it, $400 for it. That's this Loomis is not, sorry, Loomis.
Well, that's
not worth
insane. Loomis is probably $50 max.
Yeah.
On those cards. So they
I mean, we went back and forth in those messages before where I was like, you know, I'm just not, you know, for this card, I'm not paying. It was a number to 5 of 5 card. And I went back, this guy wants $200 for it, then went to 100, then went to this. I ended up getting it for $32.
Right.
So and that's the thing. That's exactly it.
And so it's just you know, and I don't care because I'm like, I'm not gonna be turned off by the fact that I know that I can't get everything when it comes to being a player collector. I collect what I collect because I enjoy what I want to collect. And if I can't afford it,
we all do.
I can't afford it.
Well, yeah,
like that's what I don't get. It's like we all are like that.
So I don't see
exactly
like when I saw your comment the other day on Twitter, it's like oh, I think I'm getting out of the Macho Man business. Like why? You have an impressive collection already. You can't have everything.
I think, and that's why I like to fall back on my Brutus collection too, because like I've already set the market with me paying $500 for a super refractor autograph. He's never going to have a card that goes over that, period. So I know where I stand. I know the guy who has the unsigned 101 insert of that, the super refractor, and he wants $900 for it. And I said, well, I just paid $500 for the autograph. Why would I pay you $900 for the unsigned one? But you know, for me, I go up and down because you know you get a new card, you get excited, and then you look at it and you're like, all right, what's next? And then all these people.
The chase is always more fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
the chase is always more fun.
But I also think it's who you collect too. I mean, that has a huge bearing in it.
Of course. Loomis, I mean, yeah. If I was collecting Roman Reigns, I'd be. It's just. I mean, I'm done, dude.
So hold on a second, because that's a really good point. So Ryan, you mentioned like, why isn't Macho Man in every set? Great question. Why haven't we seen any? Somebody asked me today, like Eric asked me, like, why haven't we seen any Road Warriors cards? Like, there's a lot of question marks that still have to be like answered. Like, why wasn't Vince McMahon in any of these original sets?
Why can't we get any DX members from a DX
in their DX
photo? We cannot
in their
get
DX photos,
anybody in a current set from DX in a DX era photo. We can't. Everything is a bold Triple H. Like I'm really interested to see in this. It was an Impeccable has the Triple H set.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a DX card where he's in green and black?
It's Chronicles. It has a 50 card.
Okay, so
50 card set.
You're right. You're Chronicles.
Out of 50 cards in that set, it better have at least a couple.
But you know what?
I don't know.
They might not. They might gloss over the greatest era of wrestling. And I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at for this. But for me, the Attitude Era was it, man. That was it.
Yeah.
That was the best time to be a wrestling fan. That was the best time for me. I understand people, you know, have their own preferences, but to cut out DX out of sets, which was such a huge part of the.
It was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah,
it was a cultural phenomenon. It still is.
It still is. Like, Can we
But I
just
think
get
I mean, we've
DX
got
autograph?
we've gotten cards of, original, NWO in their heyday. We don't see like, Nash, Hall, and Hogan all the time, and like making this.
there was one in select. I think
there was one in
Select.
select, yes, yeah. But I mean, at least
But
we,
I'm
we,
saying, like,
go ahead.
so we're now in a situation. We're now in a situation where we're making these questions. Like, these questions come to the forefront of our minds because we're so passionate about kind of getting what we want out of these sets. So
Sure.
when they don't happen, it feels empty, right? But Ryan, you're in a really unique position, and there's a reason why you're in a unique position. Not with Brutus, but with Macho Man. Macho Man is a very valuable persona in WWE, but he has no autographs, right? Because he's been dead for a long time, sadly. So how do you then prepare your collection knowing that there's never going to be an autograph card for the rest of time, right? So you're saying I don't want to pay. Yeah. So I don't want to pay $1,500 for the zoo coming out of select because it's what it is. It's
I
the
know.
zoo. You don't want to collect the zoo.
I love that we've coined the term.
Zoo collectors.
I posted that on Instagram and I got like 50 messages like, oh my God, what the hell? But like the thing is like, this is the new, you said Panini's killed player collecting. I have one of the most prominent person to collect in the entire hobby. She's in every set multiple times, multiple autographs, multiple one-on-ones, and I pay through the nose because I'm now competing with 4 people, 5 people instead of 2, and like, and it's only going up. So how does that rectify my approach versus where it was for Topps, where it was literally me and the other guy, trying to compete and get our stuff? They were one-on-ones, but the one-on-ones were like $500. They weren't $5,000. Here they're $5,000 and above. Like I literally have one. So I mean, it's like I have 2 of them actually. And to think that that's where it's gotten to, like, your statement isn't far off. The question is not necessarily whether or not it's happened, it's whether or not it makes collecting less fun. And I think that is where there's some debate to be had. Is collecting less fun because you can't get as much as you once were able to get? Now, there's an answer to that I have. My take is that you can get fewer cards, but the cards tend to be more valuable and better looking or whatever. Who knows? You can, like, the Transcendent cards, still my favorite cards of all time. That's probably not going to change anytime soon. Those were really expensive cards. But, does that mean that the rest of Transcendent is any less impressive to me? Probably not. But I think overall, does the absence of being able to get everything, which has changed dramatically since 1980 when there were 4 sets, like 4 baseball sets, literally once a quarter, you had a 100 card set or 200 card set, a 600 card set, whatever. That was it. There were no chases. It was it. There was maybe some errors and misprints, but that was it. Now there's with contrived scarcity, 50 products a year for even the smallest niche licenses that still have 10 to 15 products a year. Each of those has 10 to 15 multiple one-on-ones per person. Like, player collecting is gone. But yeah, I don't think I necessarily agree that it's less fun as a result of that.
Well, I think the personality of the person collecting, not the wrestler or the player. I think the actual person collecting plays a huge part in that, because I am a completist. I want to have everything. I want, and it's I'm not to the point where I'm buying like ice cream ads, and I'm not that far gone. I'm not that far gone yet, but I like those 5. I have all of the Brutus rainbows except for they're not rainbows yet. We've talked about this too.
Tweeted a picture of it. Yeah.
Guys, if you don't have the 101, it's not a rainbow. I hate to break it to you. It's
a light colored rainbow. I can see some of the colors.
It's a drizzle.
It's a drizzle.
It's a
drizzle.
Wait.
Who is saying that it is a rainbow if there isn't a 101 there? Like,
I
was like,
I see it all the time on Twitter where people are, look at my rainbow. And I'm like, where's the 101? Well, I don't have it. It's not a rainbow.
It's not a rainbow.
It's not a rainbow, straight up. And then we can talk about the plates, but that doesn't matter either way.
We're talking about
but for me, I'm a completist. So and I told you guys on that chat we have, if I pulled a Macho Man 101 from a blaster at Walmart and somebody offered me $5,000 for it, it's going. It's gone. It's going away. That's an absurd amount of money for a card, you know, and again, but like with Select, there's 2 101s. So that also, what?
There's 5. Yes.
There's
There's not just 2, there's a ton of them. Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, because of what there's going to be like a team all 101 too,
Yeah,
and something else.
exactly. Yeah, all that
And
stuff.
yeah, so
exactly.
you know, I'm a collector, but I'm not stupid. I mean, you know, most of the time. But
I'm very stupid.
you know, I think it depends on the attitude of the person. There's people who get, you know, like Tony. Tony's good with getting 3 or 4 cards, and he's happy with what he's got, and he's doing it. For me, you know, like I said, I'm a completist. I want to complete things.
I used to have that addiction too. Trust me, I know it's an
Yeah,
addiction.
and it's
I used to have it.
It's not addiction, it's OCD.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both actually,
Probably.
and
Probably.
it's frustrating. Like I totally get the frustration of following somebody and being a fan of somebody, and then some dude with really deep pockets just swoops in and buys everything cool because he can or she
Well,
can.
well, you know, I see lots of houses I drive by too, and I just can't afford those. And someone's going to sweep in and just buy them, probably. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is, and like I said, I go up and down, and you know, there's frustration that abounds, and
I suffer a little bit from that with the Kurt Angle stuff when I got into a little bit sometime last year. I just kind of realized, you know what, I can't go after so much stuff. It's a pretty big name. It's going to have some pretty expensive pieces to kind of fill in. And that's why I picked Loomis at the time as well. Like, I'm going to pick something on the lower end that I could probably still have fun collecting. And I just got into it.
You're not the only one either.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
And
lot of people do it that way.
And I just went and did it because I've never done it before. I was a completist. I was a set collector and a master set completist. I mean, all that Fleer stuff back, all the autographs, all the memorabilia. I had all of it.
Yeah.
It's just, and then when I kind of just stepped away because when I realized I couldn't do that, I couldn't afford to do it. Let's be honest.
Right.
And I couldn't do it. So being a player collector now is something more fun for me. And I found ways to kind of, fuel that addiction a little bit. I don't have to have cards and packages coming in the mail every single day. I just go and I get what I can when I can, man.
But that's how I do it. And that's the reason, believe it or not, that's the reason why these cornerstone cards exist too, is because people couldn't afford the golds and the other stuff. So like, what other things can we start collecting that are a little cheaper and more available, and I can have fun with it? That's how the downtowns became more valuable. That's how the kabooms became more valuable, is even though they're not numbered, like they aren't the main cards that people chase. The National Treasures rookie patch autographs, like that cost $50,000 to $60,000. Now they have gained in popularity to a point where now they're very expensive because, again, so many people were priced out. They started going to these alternate routes. That's how these cornerstone cards like the Galactics got the following that they did, is because people couldn't follow along with other things. Now I want to go back to the comment you made about the house, because that's a really interesting take. You may not have the same pang of like anxiety that you can't own that house because you're not the same, but also because you never really could afford that house to begin with, and you're not the same. But the thing is like when you figure it out and you say, at one point I could afford this, and at one point I could get all of this, that's where that anxiety starts to build. Is that I used to get all of this. I used to have all of this. And I think it's such a hard feeling, because collecting is based in mental connections, right? It's based in nostalgia. It's based in, you know, dopamine and all the reactions that you have mentally about completing things. It's a natural human reaction. Now, what causes a lot of the mental disorders is when those chemicals in your brain that shoot off when you collect things and you complete things, when they get fire into overdrive, that drives anxiety-based behavior, which becomes mental health issues, right? So for us as collectors, it's all rooted in that. We already have an increase of those things in our mind. That's why we have the personalities that we do. So when we start going down these paths and we say, oh shit, like I can't afford this anymore. I used to be able to afford that. now I got to find a way to afford it. And that's where people start going into debt. That's where people start maxing out credit cards and stuff
Yeah,
like
and
that.
I
Because
won't.
even though
I will not do that. I
Yeah,
will not do that.
I
me
just
either.
walked away. I mean, when Topps took over the license
Exactly.
in 2005, I tried the first few sets, and when I realized I wasn't going to be able to complete everything, I just said, you know what? I'm just walking away. Like in my mental state, maybe it's my personality, it's in my DNA. I don't become addicted by those kind of things. You're talking to a guy who in his teens and 20s. I mean, if it was a drug, I took it. I mean,
yeah, I mean, that we were
and I'm not
same thing,
short of heroin, because I'm terrified of needles. I am.
and your foot tattoo.
Yeah, I'm
exactly.
legitimately terrified of needles. But none of it was like, oh, that was such a great high. I have to have that again. I have to have it again. It's like I just walked away. I'm just done. I knew where my limit was, and I'm done. Can't do it.
Yeah.
I think the Chronicles, to get back on topic.
Yeah. Sorry.
But topical Chronicles is going to be a set that I think resets a lot of people's focus. Because Impeccable is not something that everybody can afford. Obviously, it's very, very expensive. The singles are very expensive, but you know what? You can buy a box of Chronicles and get 15 Stone Cold cards and 15 Roman Reigns cards and 15 Becky Lynch cards. And if you want to do that set, that set minus the gala cards, that set is obtainable. You can do that. You can, I would think that right off the bat, The Rock, Hogan, Macho Man, if he's in it, those national treasures will be $100 to $150 a card, give or take, right off the bat. And then they'll soften. It's like UFC. The Conor McGregor national treasures was really expensive and it softened. It always does, because once the people that have the FOMO and they buy up everything real quick, once they're out of the picture, then everything else can come down and where it should be. But Chronicles is going to be a set that I think really, if the price of Prism and the price of Impeccable pushed people away, Chronicles will bring them back. Because there's also a retail component to it as well. So you'll be able to find it. I mean,
so Chronicles, you guys feel it's going to be more pleasing to the average wrestling collector, card collector?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it's going to be a lot easier to stomach than a lot of other products. There's going to be some monster hits put in there. It's going to be,
yes,
$100 a box probably at one point. I think it'll be worth $100 a box to open it. I will tell you that the packs are searchable. So if you're buying single packs from a store, get it from somebody you trust, because you can find those silhouettes no problem. And the national treasures and the gala cards and the noir cards are all super, super thick. Like even thicker than the decoy.
Even with the spacers, because
the spacers aren't big enough. Like you can, not that I've ever done this, but if you squeeze a pack that has a spacer in it versus an actual thick insert, you can tell right away. It's no problem. So just be aware. Be careful.
But that aspect always existed in the hobby anyway. So
sure, of course.
I did that all the time with ink.
Look at museum collection. Yeah. Oh my God, when museum collection first came out, and those framed cards were the first real heavy cards in the hobby. Oh my God, I know people that would go through case after case, pull out the frame box and leave the rest. But I mean, here's the thing, Chronicles is going to be a fun set. It just is. And Impeccable is going to be a fun set. And Select was an incredibly fun set. It's probably my favorite wrestling set, in decades, right? And Prism was fun. They all have their aspects of fun. I don't get the collector revolt against a lot of these things because it's still so fucking easy to get engaged when you wear it and when you want to. If you can just be patient, as Ryan said, there's no limitations outside of The Rock and Roman Reigns and a few other Alexa Bliss, a few other people. Now, a lot of people collected those people before, so I get where there's dissension there. But the complaining and the bitching and all that stuff that goes along with these Panini products being too expensive, whatever, it's only a very select handful of cards. But Chronicles, that's not going to be the case. It'll be a handful of cards, but those cards will be a really tiny portion of this really gigantic set. And I think, to Ryan's point, is it going to reset things? I think it already kind of has been reset. like Select really got a lot of people back into it. Like Select has been over like gangbusters.
Yeah.
Like you think that pop for Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules was big, like the reaction to Select across the hobby was that big. And it's like, it's just a fun set to collect. It's fun to rip. I've ripped blasters. I never do retail stuff and anything, and I did a ton of it. Like those things drive experience, and experience is valuable. And
Well,
I think you know,
I think with Select they were extremely smart to put the mezzanine cards in retail only,
oh
because
yeah,
that's why people are opening them. In addition to the retail only parallels, and I don't want to sit here. I mean, like I said, my attitude goes up and down. I can be sour, and I can be sweet, and I can, and everything in between. And
you threatened to kill my family at one point. Yes,
Sure.
I did not. I threatened to punch you, but that was
yeah,
like
a number of
15 years
times.
ago. And I was a very immature young man back then.
Oh well,
But
we met up at the National. It was all good. So yeah, we're good.
well, it's
guys.
funny because you walk by, I go, Adam, like I barked at you, and you turned around, I go, hey.
Hey,
And this is like
that's a whole different podcast.
2 months removed from like Adam and I threatening to like really try to hurt each other. So
Yeah.
And we've been friends ever since. And it's been decades now almost. So
What an episode this is, folks. What an episode.
Right?
yeah, we're hugging it out. So
Keep
but I think I think bitching, to go back to what Adam said in the beginning, bitching's part of it because we're so passionate about it. It's something we care about. If we didn't care about it, we wouldn't complain about it. We wouldn't feel so strong one way or the other about, is this good? Is this good? Is this bad? Is this bad? We don't. But that's why we have these discussions. And I guarantee when this video hits, we're going to have plenty of tweets to go through to discuss. And then
Always
that's
is.
good.
Just the
always
fact,
me.
just the fact that
me.
if I put people's names on the marquee, that's enough to to seem to
You
get
should
some kind of feedback.
just put WTC episode 105 Gellman.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone. Don't
Well,
even
no,
mention
I
it.
mean, like, well, no, that's the thing. It's like we're very passionate people, and I've been in like everybody who thinks of me as like the Prism guy is like, oh no, I've been in collecting WWE for like, I was telling Tony, I was like, I've been doing this since 2017. I was here before the boom. And in 5 years worth of experience is like a senior level position in some companies. Like you have to understand my experience is pretty good. Now, additionally, I have, like I was one of the original sports card blogs on the planet. And like, I was one of the most widely read ones for a long time. And like, even before that, I was in the hobby since like 1994. So to think that I'm just coming around to this and that I only care about making money, like, have you guys seen my collection? Like, I don't sell anything. Like, nothing gets sold unless I'm buying something else for my giant collection of Becky Lynch stuff. Like, that is like this passion that we have for these products is rooted in our own interest, but it's also rooted in the fact that we love doing this. Like, why else do we sit here at 12:30 in the morning for me in the Central Time Zone, like talking about this shit when I have to get up in the morning to go to work tomorrow? Like, this is fun to me. This is what drives me as a person. It drives me as a collector. So when we're talking about Chronicles, we're talking about Impeccable, we're doing all of these things. There's a reason why these elicit such a passionate response from Ryan and I and Tony, but also why it's so controversial when people don't understand how we can feel the way that we do. And they take those attacks very personally. And in reality, like what we've been trying to say about this whole thing is that Panini is a new era. It is absolutely a new era. It is a new experience for people who've been in the bubble for 15 years, only collecting wrestling, sitting out most of the boom, all of those things. Like, that's a real thing. But to close out my thoughts on all of this is like, it's not different. Like, it's not different here. This is a microcosm of what's already happened. Ryan and I are predicting this because we've already seen it happen 2 years ago. Like, we're now approaching a precipice here where the hobby is like taking, like, if this is the hobby cliff, like we're falling off the edge right now. And I said originally that the places on the fringe are going to fall more quickly and they're going to fall first. And that's exactly what's happened. And people are like, well, no, you just made the worst judgment call in history. I'm like, well, yeah, I didn't expect the hobby to start doing what it's doing right now. I didn't expect the economy to be at 10% inflation. Like, none of those things were bad. We're there.
Prism WWE had been released a year earlier, it would be $1,500 a box.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I really believe that, and it is unfortunate timing, you know, because this was a groundbreaking product. The Prism was a groundbreaking product
Landmark.
for WWE.
Yeah.
No one ever seen it before in this section of collectibles. And like, if you look at the first year of UFC Prism, I think it's still like $1,200 a box or something like that. Like, it's still pretty expensive.
It's still expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still really expensive. And for some reason, you know, WWE fell off a cliff, and that's fine, and it happens. But I'm telling you, if Prism had been released a year earlier, it would be $1,000, $1,200 a box, $1,500 a box, no problem, because it's just it was a victim of timing, and it, you know,
And manipulation.
I don't fault you for being excited about it. I don't. You were excited about it. There was no Brutus and no Macho Man, so I was like, I don't care. You know, you guys have fun with it. You know, but you know, I think I opened one blaster I found at Walmart, and it was god awful, and that was the end of Prism for me.
Right. I didn't open a single pack. Yeah, I didn't rip anything.
Yeah. So,
but what happened with Prism is it's a weird situation. Like, you said, victim of timing. Even more than that, it's like, I got excited about it because I got excited about when it was first sort of taking off in football in 2016. Like, I'm equating experiences in the mainstream hobby to experiences in WWE and UFC, what I'm seeing from people there. And it's like, I'm trying to play the game along with it because I see these things happening, and yeah, they may not work out because of extenuating circumstances, but that's not a result of anything but timing in a lot of cases, or manipulation in other cases. And that's just normal hobby bullshit. Like, that's been happening since 1983. Right. Like, nothing is new there.
People who weren't in football in 2012 when the first Prism set was released in 2012, you have no idea what hype is.
Nothing.
If you did not, and look at him, he's like having a seizure. If you did not experience 2012 Prism football, it makes the hype around WWE look like nothing. I mean, people were insane over this stuff, pre-ordering cases to sit on, and that stuff just, I mean, it completely fell flat. And once Andrew Luck, that was the Andrew Luck RG3 rookie year, and Trent Richardson, and once RG3 and Richardson were pretty much done in the league, and then Luck retired, forget it. Gone. There's no reason to open it. So,
but it's gone back up because of the Brady stuff and other things like that. But
yeah, because the hobby just looks for something to make up, like first Brady Prism.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. But the debut thing, it, like, going back to Chronicles, because Chronicles is another debut product. Impeccable, another debut product. We're not coming here and saying, like, this is absolutely what to expect. I thought we were sitting on, and I said this with Zan's podcast, I said it on here too, like, with the way that the market was behaving, Chrome cards were selling a week here, a week here, a week here. Right. And it was like clockwork. And the reason was because there were people coming in from other sports, knowing what happened in UFC, knowing what was going to happen with the debut edition of Prism. And if they played their cards right, they made fucking bank as that happened. I sure did, because I did exactly what I was saying on those podcasts, and I sold as soon as I could get to double and triple my money. Now, people that were sitting on it and sitting on it and sitting on it while people were bitching and bitching and bitching, and the hobby was going like this because inflation was going like this, crypto is going like this. Like, there's so many things happening there that hadn't happened since 2008. Like, 2008 was the last time any of this went down. And it wasn't hobby related, it's economy related. And if you look at the way that the hobby is built, the biggest collectors were heavily involved with crypto, heavily involved with all the things that were going all over the place. Yeah. So when you look at the people that were driving the gigantic prices in the hobby, the $1 million cards, the $5 million cases, like Pokemon cards, all that stuff, those people were heavily invested in the things that were drastically impacted by the changes at the beginning of this year. And to expect that the hobby was going to be able to withstand that on the most fringe aspect of things, right? Why was anybody surprised? Like, why is that my bad call, knowing that all of those things are involved? Like, it's not about a judgment call. Like, I was riding the data there. And the thing is with Chronicles, with Impeccable, now there was no data prior to Prism. There was nothing. We just were speculating based on UFC. And I'm still speculating that stuff's still going to go a little bit back up,
Right.
because it's drying up already. But like, you look at like Impeccable, I don't expect that it's going to have the same reaction, because we've already seen what happened with Prism. But we also know what happens with Panini high-end products, right? We've seen this since 2006 when National Treasures was first released. Like, we know what happens. And Ryan and I have been through this multiple times in multiple sports. And WWE, as much as people want to think it's different, it's not. It's just not.
But what happens is always the same.
Yes.
So, in summation, because we're at an hour and a half now.
Yeah, right. We're burning the candle here.
And you need
Well,
to go to work.
I'm sure the drugs are kicking in for you, like way already in for you, Ryan. And
Actually, the Dayquil is finally hitting, and I actually feel pretty good now. So if you want to start over, we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
But
You guys
in
are
summation, wait on Impeccable singles. Have fun with Chronicles. That's it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's it.
It sounds
Easy
like
enough.
it's something fun for me. I
You
mean,
can cut out the middle part, Tony. Just cut the whole thing. We'll just
cut
say,
the whole thing out.
what do you think about Impeccable? Ryan
There
will
you
give
go.
his thoughts. It'll be like a 30-second podcast.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, just say,
that
yeah,
would
just
clearly
like
be a
fast forward.
WTC short.
Fast forward through all the sneezing and the muting and the sliding off camera. And no, seriously, like the Dayquil finally hit. Now I feel pretty good.
All right, we'll just make this an audio only version.
Right, exactly.
It might be. I'm thinking about going back to that.
I think people just need to just have fun. Like I don't get the personal sort of approach that people have been taking with this versus. Then I see like everybody, like the AEW versus WWE, like blast in like between those two groups is very much existent in every part of wrestling, whether that's trading cards or TV shows or movies or whatever. So I'm not surprised it's happening, but man, I have no problem playing the heel. I really don't, but I'm just trying to tell it like I see it and my experience has been, and I think Ryan's had a lot of the same experience, and I don't get why it's hard to see like the trends are what they are. So Ryan's point, exactly correct.
I got nothing else on this stuff, guys. I mean, this has been a lot to digest. And again, I said from the very beginning, for me, I don't have a lot of experience with the Impeccable or hell, you even mentioned Immaculate or Chronicles. I know those names. I mean, I've been in the hobby long enough that I know those names. I just didn't collect anything they ever put out. So there's nothing that appealed to me. So now seeing what it kind of is coming in, into my little area of wrestling cards that I've known for so long, it's just education for me to kind of learn what those kind of products are. So, I mean, I can see from a sell sheet what it is, but then hearing from guys who are experienced, who know how that product kind of breaks out, what to look for.
That's all we aim to do.
Yeah. And that's what I hope that someone learn.
Tony doesn't pay us to come on here. Like, it's not like we're doing this for monetary.
No,
we don't even get a cut of the ad revenue.
There's no
ads.
like,
we're just doing this to educate. We're just trying to educate.
And
I don't have enough followers for ads.
Yeah.
Whatever you may think about Adam and I, we do have a lot of experience in the hobby, a lot of experience with products like this. And what we're telling you, I feel pretty confident and spot on. So take it with a grain of salt, listen to it intently, do whatever you want with it. But I'm not coming on here and I don't think Adam is either, to mislead anybody on these products. I said,
I mean, you have nothing to gain from doing that anyways. I mean, all we're doing is voicing our opinions anyways. All it is, just our opinions about things and the histories we've had and how we collect and just sharing with people. Because as we said, we've got a lot of new people coming into the hobby, whether there are experienced collectors from other sports or, like what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to open up this retail store here. I'm supposed to take possession of those keys in 2 days. Trying to introduce trading cards to kids. I have a giveaway plan I'm going to do for grand opening day where I'm giving away, complete sets of things to kids. Just trying to get people to, get into the hobbies like that. So these are all just things that you can kind of just digest, figure out, hopefully you learned something. If Adam said something like a sentence of something that you agree with, probably not. If Ryan said something, myself, I mean, you walked away with something and you made a happy decision that made you happy by collecting something, then the whole hour and 40 some odd minute conversation is all worth it to me. I mean, it's just.
But you're a perfect example of this, Tony. Like you were the bubble collector. You were the guy that lived in the wrestling bubble. And look at how you've even adjusted the way that you look at things over the last 6 months, because you've experienced this through us, through Jamie, through everybody that you've talked to. Yeah,
everybody. And I mean, I from both sides of it. Like,
yeah, why would you continue to have us on if he didn't feel like we were worth the time? Well,
I mean, there's also there's
bully him into doing it.
There's this, the Springer aspect of it too. You never understand. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. So, I mean,
if I throw a chair, it's just
and people know. I mean, I've told enough people now. I think in some way, shape, or form, as Ryan knows, I've only had hate mail for one person before, and immediately my first thought was, gotta have him back on again. Just because it boggles my mind that whether you agree with someone or don't agree with them, it should never, ever dissuade you from following something that makes you happy to what you want to do. And in this hobby, there's all kinds of ways to have fun in this hobby. I've used myself as an example. I'm living proof of that I used to had to have it all, knowing that I can't have it all. And I found a way. Well, I still love my wrestling cards, man. I still love them in some way, shape, or form. How can I still fit into this hobby and still have fun? And I found it. There's always all kinds of ways.
Right.
All kinds of
ways. And come talk to us. My God, it's not like we're not accessible. Like, I'm literally putting my name on every episode, my handles, everything. Like, if you disagree, like, I give you guys a place every week to disagree with me. And it's just, and like, until I run out of WrestleMania logos, it's going to continue. So it's like, why, like, I give you the opportunity. Like, if you disagree, I want you to have those experiences. Tell me about it. Like, I'm not an inaccessible person. I'm not hiding.
Okay. And with that, where can they find you, Adam?
I am on Instagram. At I hate Adam Gellman. No, I'm on Instagram at WWE Gellman. I'm on Twitter at SC Uncensored. Come tag me. I'm happy to have debates. I'm not doing this to piss people off. I'm doing this to have fun. So if you want to debate, I'm game.
What about you, Macho Man Ryan?
Twitter at Slim Jim Madness. I'm pretty
Ryan the Barber Schear, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's nice to have a secondary collection that you can fall back on to Brutus has like 5 autographs in Impeccable that I'm probably going to pick them all up for like under $150, to be honest with you. And I'm kind of including the 101 in there. So yeah, and I'm the same way. Look, if you like Prism, if you like Wrestling All-Stars, if you like 87 Tops, whatever you like, collect it.
Nothing you said will get any response probably, but that one goddamn little glare, it's going to be talked about.
I'm just saying, whatever you like, go ahead. If you want to talk about something, you know what? Husker Halves and I actually had a really nice conversation over Dean.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Oh.
And you know what? I don't take anything personal. If, the banter is part of the deal, like Adam said.
Yeah,
that's part of it. I don't take any of the Ravens Bills talk I have with Mike the Cleaner. I don't get upset about it. It's fun. It's something to do. It's something to pass the time. So, you know what? You want to hit me up? Want to discuss some things? You want to tell me I'm full of shit? You wouldn't be the first. Knock yourself out.
That's right.
I love this the way we're ending it. Oh my God.
For me,
Tony's dream ending. Dream ending.
For me, Mr. I always have to play Switzerland over here kind of thing. You can find us on WrestlingTradingCards.com. Social media platforms are on the bottom of every single page. Get on the channel here. Talk, bitch, complain. I mean, I'm sure there's always complaints. Make them kind of engage.
We're really going after it today.
No, but at the end of the day,
drugs.
At the end of the day, it's all about engagement to just kind of further along this hobby and just have discussions. I mean, sometimes they get heated, sometimes they're just very polite, and so I just want to continuously have engagements. I'm always throwing nuggets out all the time when I can of like something from 1993 or something from 80, something from 2002. I mean, whatever it is, just to try to create engagements to people to have conversations. Like, I didn't know about that. That's kind of cool. I got to go out and find that.
Well, I really have enjoyed meeting people and seeing their pursuits. You know, like I'm happy for Jamie when he picks up rare Macho Man stuff.
Oh
I'm happy
yeah.
for Chuckster and Paul to see how excited they are over, you know, completing that select set, which is a monster. That's a monster set. Don't let anybody fool you. That's a very, very
It's
tough.
taken a lot of work
tough,
from those
difficult
guys.
set.
They've been working
And I'm
really hard
happy
at
for
it.
them.
And then again, it's also a testament to the community that we have, because a lot of the communities helped those two guys finish those
Absolutely.
sets.
We talked about that on the last time we were
Yeah,
out. They got so
100%.
much heat.
And so,
100%.
you know, are they enjoying it? Probably not as much as they used to enjoy things when they collected base sets and stuff like that before. But you know what? The community still stood up. It still came up through for them and said, "Hey, I got this. I'll help you out. I know a lead.
They're
I'll
gonna
help you
like.
out."
They're gonna like Chronicles. They're gonna like Chronicles. Definitely.
It should be fun, man. And I look forward to those products. My local card shop, who's heavy into wrestling cards. I'm going to be into wrestling cards at my store too. Obviously, I'm looking forward to, you know, checking out these products, man. I'll just sit on box. I don't really open. I only open select. The only thing I open one box. I got one box as a payment for doing some graphic work. And my wife and I said, honey, you want to just open up some products? She goes, you really want to open up some of your wrestling cards with me? I said, yeah. She goes, stop what I'm doing. Let's do it right now. So let's do it right now.
My wife loves it. Yeah.
So-
My wife does it too. Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun, guys. But yeah, thanks, guys, for these topics. It's awesome. You know, we're gonna have you guys
Happy
back
to
on,
do it.
all the time, man. I love talking shop with you guys all
Hey,
the
we
time.
love doing this. Like, that's what I mean. Like, there's a reason. You know, like, listen, I'm going to end with this. And then it's like, people hate Jim Cornette, despise him. Everybody hates him. Guess whose podcast is the most widely listened to podcast in wrestling? And you guess how long it is? It's like 6 hours a shot. And it's like, because people just want to listen to controversy. Controversy is entertaining, but he's very educational too. Like, he has a huge historical knowledge of wrestling. And like, I don't agree with him as a weird old man who has terribly racist views and all these other things, but he's very educational.
Yeah.
And like, he has a lot of good perspective, but people hate him, like literally hate him. It's the Howard Stern. They want to listen to
and
Howard
it's
Stern.
funny. That's exactly what I was going to say, because one of the funniest parts from Private Parts is when they're walking with Pig Vomit through the offices, and he goes,
Howard Stern said,
he says, the average Howard Stern listener listens for 3 hours a day. Most common answer, I want to hear what he's going to say next. The average Howard Stern hater listens for 4 hours a day. And Pig Vomit goes, if they hate him, why do they listen to him? Most common ansor, to see what he says next.
Exactly.
All right, guys, that's a good way to end it.
All right, guys, I appreciate it. Until next time, guys, we're out.